This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 589, In Praise of the Debt Snowball, and Do Experiences Lead to Greater Happiness Than Material Purchases? Both by J.D. Roth of GetRichSlowly.org. And I am Dan, the guy who's here each weekday reading to you from some of the best blogs on personal finance. And whether you can believe it or not, today is the last day of the month, which means we are giving away yet another book to someone random on our mailing list, and that drawing is going to happen tonight at midnight. So if you want to be part of that raffle, you need to be on our weekly newsletter email list, and you can do that by going to oldpodcast.com. That's oldpodcast.com. Now, today's post comes from J.D. Roth. He recently bought his old site back after he had sold it and gave us permission to narrate any of the articles there. So that's fantastic, and thanks so much to JD for that. But before we get to his content for today, thank you to ZipRecruiter as well for their support of our show. Are you hiring? ZipRecruiter has revolutionized how you do it. Their technology identifies people with the right experience and invites them to apply to your job. They find great candidates for you. So try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/OFD. That's ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Now let's get to our post as we optimize your life. In Praise of the Debt Snowball by J.D. Roth of GetRichSlowly.org. During my 20s, I accumulated nearly $25,000 in consumer debt. I had a spending problem. With time, I was able to get my spending under control, mostly, but I still owned overwhelming debt. How could I get rid of it? The personal finance books all suggested the same approach. 1. Order your debts from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate. 2. Designate a certain amount of money to pay toward debts each month. 3. Pay the minimum payment on all debts except the one with the highest interest rate. 4. Throw every other penny at the debt with the highest interest rate. 5. When that debt is gone, do not alter the monthly amount used to pay debts, but throw all you can at the debt with the next highest interest rate. This made perfect sense. By doing this, I would be paying the minimum amount in interest over the long term. The trouble was, my highest interest rate debt was also my debt with the biggest balance, a fully maxed $12,000 credit card at 19.8% interest. I'd plug away at this debt for several months at a time, but then give up because it felt like I was never getting anywhere. This happened over and over. I'd start and fail, start and fail. Then I read about the debt snowball method in Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover. How the debt snowball works. The debt snowball method is similar to the traditional approach, except that instead of attacking high interest rate debts first, you attack low balance debts first. Why? Because you'll get the psychological lift of pinging debts off in rapid succession. And if you're like me, this makes all the difference. The debt snowball approach is 1. Order your debts from lowest balance to highest balance. 2. Designate a certain amount of money to pay toward debts each month. 3. Pay the minimum payment on all debts except the one with the lowest balance. 4. Throw every other penny at the debt with the lowest balance. 5. When that debt is gone, do not alter the monthly amount used to pay debts, but throw all you can at the debt with the next lowest balance. For more on this, including some actual figures, see my entry on 2 approaches to debt elimination. When I read about the debt snowball method, I was skeptical. I knew it would cost me more in the long run, at least on paper, but I figured I had nothing to lose. I tried it. In 4 months, I'd paid off most of my debts. I was shocked. I'd been trying and failing for years, and now I was able to make a huge dent in just months? It was all because I had changed my approach just slightly. Why the debt snowball works. Humans are complex psychological creatures. They're not adding machines. Many of us know what we ought to do, but find it difficult to actually make the best choices. If we were adding machines, we wouldn't accumulate $20,000 in consumer debt in the first place. It's misguided to tell somebody so deep in debt that they must follow the repayment plan that minimizes interest payments. The important thing to do is to set up a system of positive reinforcement, and that's exactly what the debt snowball method does. Which method should you use? Do what works for you. The first method can save you money in the long run, but if you've tried it and failed, give the debt snowball method a shot. It might be the answer you're searching for. And I have another post from JD for you in just a minute, but first, are you hiring? Every business needs great people and a better way to find them, something better than posting your job online and just praying for the right people to see it. ZipRecruiter knew there was a smarter way, so they built a platform that finds the right job candidates for you. ZipRecruiter learns what you're looking for, identifies people with the right experience, and invites them to apply to your job. These invitations have revolutionized how you find your next hire. In fact, 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. And ZipRecruiter doesn't stop there. They even spotlight the strongest applications you receive, so you never miss a great match. The right candidates are out there, and ZipRecruiter is how you find them. Right now, my listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/OFD. That's ZipRecruiter.com/OFD. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Do experiences lead to greater happiness than material purchases? By J.D. Roth of GetRichSlowly.org. The August issue of the Journal of Consumer Research arrived in my mailbox yesterday. It contains an interesting article from Nicolau, Irwin, and Goodman entitled Happiness for Sale. Do experiential purchases make consumers happier than material purchases? This is a topic we've skirted at Get Rich Slowly but never fully explored. Many readers have offered anecdotal evidence that they get more bang for their buck by spending money on experiences instead of stuff. This new research supports that idea, but only for experiences that turn out well. Good experiences do bring greater happiness to consumers than buying stuff, but bad experiences make us more unhappy than bad purchases. From the article, quote, "Our results replicate those of Van Boven and Gilovich, 2003, showing that, for positive purchases, experiences lead to greater happiness than material purchases. Also, there is a sense in which our results support the experience recommendation because we show that, on average, the most happiness obtained through purchasing is likely to be obtained through experiential purchases that turn out well. However, the experience recommendation in its pure form is incomplete. Our findings suggest that a lifetime of negative experiential purchases might lead to quite an unhappy life, and furthermore, that negative material purchases may not leave as much of a negative mark." End quote. In essence, and these are my words, not those of the authors, it seems that when we pay for experience, our happiness or unhappiness is magnified. Generally, however, we have more positive experiences than negative experiences, which leads many of us to conclude that spending on experiences brings more happiness than spending on stuff. In the general discussion, the authors review past studies to explore reasons that buying experiences might provide greater happiness. Here are a few examples. 1. Positive social interaction is a major source of happiness. Experiential purchases often involve positive social interaction. 2. Some experiential purchases involve pursuing goals and obtaining a flow state, which has been shown to be correlated to happiness. The authors note that even online games can produce flow. World of Warcraft can make you happy. 3. Exercise increases happiness. Experiential purchases can often lead to exercise. Thus, positive experiences may be correlated with the basics of human happiness, write the authors. When we buy experiences, we often inadvertently purchase things that contribute to happiness. A new $1,000 flat-screen television won't give you social interaction. It won't help you achieve your goals, won't give you exercise. But paying $1,000 for a week-long bicycle tour of Oregon will do all three, and the latter is more likely to make you happy. A couple of other points from the article. Materialistic people tend to receive equal happiness from positive purchases, whether they're experiences or material goods. And our feelings about a material purchase fade more quickly than they do for an experiential purchase. For example, I still feel happy about the vacation Chris and I took to Victoria, BC in 1998, but I'm no longer ecstatic about finding a rare Tintin book on that trip, though it pleased me greatly at the time. As I gradually reduce the stuff in my life, I've been thinking about what I can do to improve my happiness in the future, to not become so absorbed with material possessions. Chris and I have already decided that we'd like to focus on travel. I'd also like to take some classes, like photography and French. Essentially, I've decided on a subconscious level that I'd rather pay for good experiences than stuff. You just listened to the posts titled In Praise of the Debt Snowball and Do Experiences Lead to Greater Happiness Than Material Purchases, both by J.D. Roth of GetRichSlowly.org. And that's going to do it for today. As I mentioned at the top of the show, don't forget to join our weekly newsletter at oldpodcast.com to be in a raffle, which is happening at midnight tonight. So have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the Friday show tomorrow. That's where your optimal life awaits.